6 chill, for real.
Judah. The scepter will never leave Judah. The scepter will never leave Judah. The scepter will never leave Judah. I'm Judah. Christ sprang out of Judah. King David was Judah. King Asa was Judah. Don't crowd me up, who gon' rouse me up? Alistair Crowley, your time is up. It's a big mess, I gotta clean it up. Esau, the end of my kingdom's up. On the eagle's neck, I'll press. I woke up from my rest. My rulership is up next. No vex. Judah. The scepter will never leave Judah. The scepter will never leave Judah. The scepter will never leave.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Shalom to everybody online. Welcome to another live class with the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're live here at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. We have a few other locations that's going to be up on your screen, so make sure you check that out for our other locations and also for our class times. Okay. Just a major announcement. We have an upcoming feast, which is going to be the Feast of Pentecost. That's Sunday, January, February, March.
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday?
It's a typo. It's Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday. What is that, May?
15th.
The 15th. Okay, so that's at sundown on Saturday. Okay, I think we said sundown Sunday by accident, but yeah, that's Saturday, May the 15th at sundown. We'll be observing the Feast of Pentecost. Okay, and as it approaches, we'll go over it, what it is. Probably do a quick little class, give you a little information on it as we get nearer. We could talk about it Saturday during Sabbath class. All right, we'll go over it briefly, what the Feast of Pentecost is, what we did, why we observed it. Okay. There's many different ways to check us out. There's the Blog Talk Radio. We have the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge on YouTube. We have ISBHPK Kids on YouTube. We have 5 Minutes of Wisdom. We have Israelite Media Corp, Hidden Truth Bible Channel. We got a lot of different channels on YouTube that we can be viewed and checked out by. All right, so make sure you check those out. We have Hebrew Academy. Okay, we have Hebrew Academy every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday in Virginia, Tuesday in Houston, Wednesday in Rochester. If you want to be a part of the Academy, hit us up. We can get you the link when we go live. If you need to reach a teacher, you can reach me. I'm Priest Kwatazat. My phone number is 303-557-8979. You can reach Priest Kazakia. His number is 757-300-4047. Text only during class. Other than that, you can call, text, however you want to reach us about anything, any topic you want to talk about, any questions you may have, counsel. This is what we do. So hit us up. We have another business. We have two businesses. The first one is Israelware. Okay, the first one is Sweet Ambiance. I'm looking at you. The first one is Sweet Ambiance. I'm looking at you do it, right? I'm trying to go with the photos.
You skipped over the other one.
We got Sweet Ambiance. Okay, you can check us out at www.sweetambiance.com. We have all your smell good needs taken care of at Sweet Ambiance. Aromatherapeutic body oils, all natural essential oils. If you want to smell good, if you want to have good smells in your house, we got you. All natural body butters, bath bombs, deodorant, body wash, beard oils, whatever you need. Listen, we've been in the oil game for about 30 years. Okay, so there's a lot of people that's popping up trying to, selling oils and doing things like that. Nothing wrong with that, but we've got experience in it. We've been around, we've been doing it for a long time. So, experience, that experience goes a long way when it comes to dealing with certain different ailments with the oils and healing oils and different things like that. So hit us up. Let us know. We got you. We also have Israel wear. So we're trying to get we're trying to get everything covered here. We got Israel wear. That's where you get all your gear, whatever you want, custom made garments. You just let them know they can get it done for you for men, women, and children. We also have Fringed Up, which is part of Israel wear, where you do a monthly subscription. It's $35 for just a shirt, or it's $75 for a shirt and for a matching headband. As you see, I have on. I got on the headband that matches the shirt that they made for, that was like October. Right. And brothers got on different shirts that match. So you can get a headband shirt or just a shirt. Okay? The price will vary. It's a monthly subscription. And that's another good way. That's another way if you want to help support the school. It all goes back to the school. And if you want to get your gear, your Israel wear up, that's a good way to do it. Okay? What else is there? Donations, right? Anything y'all want to give, books, pens, papers. We got the stack of apocryphers, a Zondervan. We got these things on hand for new brothers and sisters that come in. We don't charge for them. We just kind of hand them out. We're not trying to be sticklers. Like, oh, you got to pay for that. But it's good if we could have them on deck to be able to hand them out. Everybody ain't got the dough to get these books. The prices are going up. If you can facilitate that, we appreciate it. Anything that you want to give monetarily, you can put that inside the Wells Fargo account. You can, Zelle or Google Wallet. We appreciate it. Brothers and sisters have been definitely holding us down. There's other schools, man, that they've literally had to close their doors because they weren't able to pay their rent and things like that. So, we thank brothers and sisters for being able to help us out, for us to make sure that the rent's paid, making sure that the next flock of men and women have a location to come down, come sit down and learn. It's very important. It's very important. So, y'all definitely have contributed and been helping us out with that. So we appreciate it. And again, if it's in your heart to give and you want to give, everything's on the screen for you to be able to do that. All right. So that's going to be it for the announcements. I'm going to get into this class, and this is this topic is a touchy topic for the world. If you have if you're human, then this is a topic that not everybody likes to talk about, and it's one of those topics that if you give your mind to it in one way or the other, you'll be left wondering, like, man, why does this happen? So we're going to talk about death, and you can title this one, why, again, this is not a, just putting this together. We had just in the camp recently, we had a brother that passed, and it kind of sparked. We had a brother that passed here, and a couple of years ago we had a brother that passed in San Antonio. And then, you hear all the different celebrities that are dying. You had Scottie Pippen that played for the Chicago Bulls. His son, age just died. They said he had chronic asthma, but they didn't give a cause of his death. He died. You had, who is it? Mark Wahlberg. His mom died, old age, in their 80s. You had Prince Philip. He died, right? You had, there's a lot of from being killed out on the streets. But then you got people just die. Right? You got people that just die, and we're kind of left wondering, like, man, what happened? You kind of get left wondering why. So, I put this class together just wanted to go through and just get the biblical explanation of death. And it's not going to cover every aspect of death, because we're not going to deal with, you got suicide. People died by suicide. God. Right? People die from many different There's many different ways to die. Remember the show 101 Ways to Die? And you have people dying of just doing just idiotic things. But that all can be streamlined, and really, death is categorized in, it's really two things. It's righteous and wicked. The righteous and the wicked, right? So let's go to Ecclesiastes. Let's start with Ecclesiastes 2. And we, just the point itself is just death. Death in general. You could just write death and then you write your scripture. All right? So read Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 14.
Right? So,
woe unto you that have lost patience.
Ecclesiastes in the Bible, Salakia. Ecclesiastes in the Bible, 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 14.
Right.
The wise man's eyes are in his head.
Right, so go ahead. A wise man's eyes are in his head. Go ahead.
But the fool walketh in darkness.
Read on.
And I myself
Right.
perceive also that one event happeneth to them all.
Right, so Solomon right here is letting us know about the wise man and the not so wise man. A wise man's eyes are in his head. He's always, what he's thinking, he's watching, he's observing, right? He's always being careful. And really, what is it that a wise man is watching for?
His surroundings. Everything around him.
He's watching for his surroundings, but what about his surroundings? What is a wise man looking for? Derek.
Danger.
He's looking out for the danger. A wise man, right? It says a wise man, foreseeth the evil. Thank you, sis. A wise man foreseeth the evil and hide himself. So it's telling you right here, it says a wise man's eyes are in his head. So he's looking, he's thinking, he's always observing, he's mentally, right? As he sees things, what is he doing? He's meditating. He's mentally taking an account. So the last time I came here, they were shooting. So you know what? I ain't gonna go down this street no more. He's taking mental accounts of his surroundings and the people that surround him. But a fool, it says a fool does what?
A fool walketh in darkness.
But a fool, he just walks. Dum-da-dum-da-dum, right? He just walks, not paying attention, not circumspect, falls into a ditch. Well, no wonder you died. You weren't paying attention. But a wise man, he's looking. He's like, nah, there's a ditch right there. There's a snare right there. There's a pit right here. Right? So there's two things happening here, and they're opposite of each other. One is a man that's watching his surroundings, and a fool is not watching. But what does Solomon say? Read from the semicolon.
And I myself
right?
perceive also that one event
right?
happeneth to them all.
Right. So no matter wiser or unwise, there's one event that happens to all men. Right? Go to from there. Go to Ecclesiastes, same chapter, 9 and verse 3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 3.
Right?
This is an evil.
Right. DMX. DMX died. Right? And everybody's trying to wrap their head around how did this man die? They saying the man died of an overdose. You know what's crazy? What's his name from he's from Queens. He did the song he was back. He always got into. He had that big beef with KRS-One way back. MC Shan.
Oh.
So MC Shan came on the internet and he was like, "Listen." He's like, "First of all, I have a heart condition, and I'm probably the biggest cokehead you'll ever meet." He said, "I do coke, and I do it until my heart starts to flutter, and I've never overdosed." He said, "I know how to control that." Right? He's like, "Listen, if you want to know about coke, you talking to the coke guy. Ain't nobody overdosing on coke, especially if you've been doing it that long. You're not going to overdose on it." So he's saying for them to say that DMX died of an overdose is BS, which even in my mind, I'm like, a person that's been doing drugs for 40 years, because basically that's how long DMX been doing drugs, 40 years. And then all of a sudden, he just overdoses? I don't even see that happening. Crackheads don't overdose on crack. Not these days. Ain't no crack that strong. It's all stepped on and watered down.
That's true.
So we sit back and we try to mow over, well, why did this man die? Well, some people say he got the corona shot, and all of a sudden, right? Look at was it Jackie Robinson?
Jack Robinson
Got the corona shot, then died like a day later.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, got the corona shot and then died a week later. You got a lot of people that's getting this shot and dying. They just pulled Johnson and Johnson off the shelf because it was causing blood clots. So a blood clot will kill you, right?
If you even look at Johnson & Johnson products in the United States, all their products, including the baby products, here use cancer-causing ingredients, but in other countries they don't.
Right. Yeah, the powder that they use, Johnson & Johnson baby powder, all these different things. I don't want to dive too far into that side about product, but let's bring it back to just death. Right? We sit back and you know, like I'm a big DMX fan. Like that's my top 3 rapper. Right? Since he came out, I've been a DMX fan. And to see that man dead is like, damn. I remember when Michael Jackson died, it blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It blew my mind because I'm like, damn, I know Michael Jackson more than I know some of my family. You know, you watch Michael Jackson as a kid all the way to your grown up. You know more about them than you know about just some of your family members. So for them to pass, you're like, damn, it's cold, it's sad, it sucks, right? You even feel a certain type of remorse. Like, you know, one of my big things was that, and it happened, that DMX, I was like, man, this guy got to learn the truth. At some point in his life, he always talking his Bible. And he actually got the opportunity to be taught.
That's true.
Right? And then 2 weeks later, he's dead. But he heard the word. But read on. Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 3.
Ecclesiastes 9 verse 3. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun.
Right. He said, this is an evil among all things that are done under the sun. Go ahead.
That there is one event unto all.
See, there is one event unto all. He's uttering the same thing. There's one thing that's going to happen, whether wise or foolish, whether righteous or wicked. Go ahead.
Yea, also the heart of the sons of men
Go ahead.
is full of evil.
Read.
And madness is in their hearts.
Read.
While they live.
Go ahead.
And after that, they go to the dead.
And after that, they go where?
They go to the dead.
Right. After that, we die, man. And that's what we're going to talk about is death. And the one thing we got to understand about death is that it doesn't matter who you are, it's going to happen.
Come on.
As long as you're alive and then you live a certain time frame and Yahweh Shai ain't back yet, death is something that's going to be inevitable. It's inevitable, and there's something that we do have to understand. I'm not going to say it yet, but I just want y'all to wrestle with that concept. Now, who in here thinks about death? Anybody? What do you think? What do you think about death? Like your own death?
Just death in general.
Right. What do you think about it? What pops in your head?
What pops in my head is what happens after you die.
Okay.
When you die, you know, what happens? What is your thought? Are you still thinking? Do you have thoughts once you die? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I just
that's a whole nother class that we could go into. But hell yeah, you do. Because the spirit is eternal. Your spirit is not going to die. The flesh is the only thing destroyed in death. Remember, the Bible says that the spirit goes to the Most High, the body goes to the earth. You see that? So yeah, of course, you got some form of consciousness, but just in the spirit form. You see that? What else? What do y'all think? What do y'all think when it comes to death?
I think about my dad because he passed this last year. And just like, shortly after he passed, one of the sisters asked you about like what happens to us when we die. And just thinking how like my father never got the truth, and he did a lot of, you know, hit the curses and did a lot of the wicked, like eating pork and smoking weed and not teaching his children. And so to think about, like, I would love to think that he's, you know, they say they're in a better place, but realistically I don't think that.
You see? Right. Just scroll up a little bit. Right. What else? What sis, Marcy?
I think like, how am I gonna die? I don't want to die like.
You say what?
I think like, how am I gonna die? Sometimes,
Right.
You know, I get an image in my head. I don't know if it's something. It's because I watch something.
Right.
Certain
Please.
I don't want to die like crazy.
Crazy.
I'd rather just die in my
Sleep.
with a nice dream.
God said that, and that's what I think about death. I'm just like, man, I don't want to go out in some weird car crash where they got to cut you out of the car and then you still make it and then you get to the hospital and then you suffer on life support. Listen, I don't want to go out like that, but it ain't up to me.
That's true.
It ain't up to me. It's when the Most High calls, he gonna pull your spirit out of you any way he sees fit. You know, but that's the mercy is that the flesh don't feel all that pain. You know, we was talking about it the other day, because we were talking about it, and it's a good conversation to have, because you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, in this life, you have to talk about, well, what if something happened where I had to be on life support? Do I want to suffer through life support?
Nah.
Because really, if there ain't no brain activity, your spirit's gone, man. They just try to hold on to that body. So, you know, I told them, I said, listen, this is what you're going to do if they got to put me on life support. You're going to put me in the room, you're going to turn on the Bible app, and just let it play. That way, if there is something there, it's hearing the word of the Most High. That's one. And then, listen, if it goes past 2-3 days, listen, pull the plug. Just pull the plug. I'm not there. I'm not there. The Most High didn't mean for us to lay up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week.
So true.
Not doing nothing. There's nothing we can do for the Most High in that state. Because you're not really going into the dead. Like, there ain't no such thing as dying and then coming back to life. The Bible tells you that. Like, oh, you know, I died, but then I came back. There ain't no such thing. Either you die or you don't. Either the Most High cuts the cord or he don't. There is no, oh, I went and I saw heaven, then I came back to tell y'all how heaven looked. Nah.
So
it don't happen. He tells you. It tells you right in Ecclesiastes 12. When he cuts that cord, that's it. There is no escaping death and cheating death. You see that? Or coming back from the dead, so to speak, in that way. What's up?
So what are these people seeing then?
Bro, they seeing visions or something, but they're not dying. They weren't dead. You see that? They weren't dead.
I understand.
Yeah, to be dead is that your spirit goes back to the Most High. So he's not going to send the spirit back and forth in some confusion type of way. Spirit's gone from that body. But it tells you that in Ecclesiastes. I believe it's the 12th chapter that goes into death. Right? That's one of the chapters that goes into death. Read that scripture right one more time. Ecclesiastes 9:3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
This is an evil among all things.
No, Salakia. Yeah, go ahead. You're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil.
Go ahead.
And madness is in their heart while they live.
Go ahead.
And after that, they go to the dead.
Right. So as we live with madness and evil, why is he saying after that they go to the dead? Well, there's a payment for that madness and evil that's done here that you got to be accountable for once you're dead. And I could do a whole nother class, and it's funny because when I was putting this together, I was like, yeah, that's going to have to be the next class, is life after death. The afterlife, right? And what happens when you die. We're just going to deal with death in a whole concept. What is it? Why does it happen? Who does it happen to? Right? Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 19.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 19.
Right?
For that,
go to verse 18.
Verse 18. I said in my heart concerning.
No, go to 17.
Verse 17.
Right?
I said in my heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous and the wicked.
Right, he should judge the righteous and the wicked. Go ahead.
For there is a time, therefore, every purpose and for every work.
Right, go ahead. So how is the righteous and the wicked, how do they first get brought to that judgment? Well, go ahead, read on.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Go ahead.
That God might manifest them.
Read.
And that they my seed, that they themselves are beasts.
Go ahead.
For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth
You
beasts.
see that? He said, look, y'all are just like beasts. Because the same things that befall the sons of men, ye are sons if you do whatsoever I command you. He said the same things that befall beasts is going to befall y'all. Go ahead.
Even one thing.
Right? He said what?
Even one thing.
Go ahead.
Befalleth them.
Even one event befalleth them all. Go ahead.
As the one dieth,
Right?
so dieth the other.
Right. As the beast dies, so dieth the sons of men. As the wicked die, so dieth the righteous. As the wicked is judged, so is judged the righteous. Y'all see this? Go ahead, read.
Yea, they have all one breath.
They all have what?
They have all one breath.
Right, so he's showing here, when it says they all have one breath, well, we understand all the way from the ancient days the concept of regeneration. We understand that. The concept of what Yahweh Shai, when he died and came back from the dead. And the concept of, well, no, not that. That's resurrection, excuse me. But regeneration. Where I die, my spirit goes to the Most High, it's hell, then he sends me back in a different flesh. We understand that biblical concept. But what he's saying here is, before you die, you only have one breath. Y'all get that? You only have this life. And then you die, and you can come back in another lifetime for another breath. Y'all get that?
Oh, God.
Right. So you only have one breath as Alma One. You only have one breath as Derek, meaning one lifespan to live as that man. But you may die, and then what? You may regenerate as someone else.
But
You see that?
Israelite, right?
Con, you definitely stay Israelite. Yeah, your spirit is what your spirit is.
That's fine.
You stay Israelite. Yeah, you ain't gonna go from Israel to Esau. That wouldn't even be fair. Right? You get a chance to do it over again. Just as a different flesh. In a different time. So you have one breath in this life, is what he's saying. Go ahead.
So that a man.
Right? So we could get the full understanding of what he's saying here. Because animals only have what? One breath.
One breath.
So what he's showing is that man has one breath. So where we at? What you got for preeminence? Oh, preeminence. It says the fact of surpassing all others or superiority. So he's showing us here that in this concept of death, you might be to the food chain as a man, right? Because humans are at the top of the food chain when it comes to everything, right? But he's showing that when it comes to this concept of death, there's an equality. We have no preeminence even over the beasts. As beasts die, and they get old and die, your dog got old and died of old age, he was 50 in dog years, or the dog, caught polio or cancer. No, dogs don't catch polio. They catch, what's the one that messes up? They get heart diseases. What's the one that does to their back legs? It's, well, you don't get them the shots, and it does something to their back legs, and it cripples them damn near. But, yeah, they drag their legs, but the point is, just like beasts, man, the flesh is susceptible. Y'all see that? And just because you are man with wisdom, or flesh with wisdom, there's no beating death. That's the cold part. You can't beat death. Oh, I cheated death. No, you didn't. It just wasn't really your time. The bullet jamming is not you cheating death. That's the angels. That's the angels blocking that bullet or jamming that gun. That's the Most High. You swerving out of the way in that car accident, you didn't cheat death. That was you being reactive and being circumspect.
Wouldn't that also be the spirit making intercession?
Yeah, of course. That's definitely the spirit. I said angels. But yeah, it's the spirit. It's the spirit doing what the spirit is supposed to do. No, it's not his time. That was for you. That could have been a sign for you to wake up and say, man, I gotta change. I mean, just think about it. Who are the ones that are getting guns drawn on them and getting bullets, getting shot at? It ain't the righteous, right? Why would the bullet jam on a drug dealer or on a killer? Why would the gun jam? Well, it would jam to say, man, I got to change my life. There's a different purpose. The Most High is trying to give that person another chance to make a different path. Y'all see that? So where we at?
Last precept.
Right, go ahead.
For all is vanity.
Right. So he said there's no preeminence above beasts when it comes to death. Death is going to touch everybody. What's that?
Is that from the from back in Genesis when we ate of the tree and he said that we were going to till the land, we were going to die there or not live?
Well, I'll get into that. As I get into the class, I'm going to touch on that. Good question. But I'm going to touch it. I'm going to just go through this. Go to Job. So what are we understanding about death? Sis. Yeah. It's for everybody. Death has been teed up and queued up for everybody, for all flesh. That's first and foremost. Where we at?
Job question.
Job 21 and verse 23.
Job chapter 21, verse 23.
Now, check this out. Because we think like, man, you know, you see a young cat, 20 years old. You really don't hear about just young cats that is 20 years old just die, right?
True.
Usually they die because of some type of, it's always, they're not just dying, they're being killed. Because I'm not dealing with being killed. I'm talking about just death, right? How many young people you know that just die out of the blue? Oh, he died at a young age.
This kid, he was like the all-American Issacharite. Like, everybody wanted to be him. One day he was like working in the power lines, and the power lines shocked him, and he just got fried from the inside.
Well, that's understandable. That's not, see, I want y'all to wrap your mind around this. How about this? I'll give you this concept. I had two friends, two brothers. It was actually four of them. It was two sisters. It was two sisters and two brothers. Now, the one brother, he was about my age at that time. We were about 16, 17, 18, right? He had a younger brother that was probably at that time, maybe 14. So as we got older, you know, we got into our 20s, you know, we would play ball, we were athletes, we ran around, we did normal teenage 20-year-old stuff. Play ball, drank a little bit, kicked it, hung out, but we were ball players, we were conditioned athletes. And his young bro, well, no, the old bro, the one that was my age, he was playing ball and just dropped dead of a heart attack at like 22 years old.
Damn.
No pre-existing condition. Been playing ball his whole life, so his heart was used to the work. No health issues, and died right there on the basketball court. Why'd he die? See, that's the type of death I'm talking about. Then he had his brother, his young bro that, again, no pre-existing condition, no nothing. He caught leukemia, I believe, and he lived with it for a while, and he ended up passing away. Now, the leukemia thing, you're like, damn, how do you catch that when nobody in your family got that? It's cancer, right? Because that's all it is. But even that, when you sit back and you look at a person's line, and you say they never had cancer in their line, and all of a sudden, the healthy cat catches cancer, or what we deem as healthy, right? And then he dies. The healthy cat that plays ball, that always on the court, he didn't smoke, he didn't even drink. He didn't smoke or drink. He wasn't one of those guys, you know, church boy, whatever. But he dies on the basketball court of a heart attack out of nowhere. See, those are the things that make me say, wow, okay. And it's hard to judge, right? Because we look at death as that's the punishment for wicked, right? Ain't that how you're going to die if you do this. You're going to die if you do that. Watch this. Read on.
Job chapter 21, verse 23.
Right.
One died.
Right.
In his full strength.
In his what?
In his full strength.
See, a man can die in his full strength. Be in full strength, not ailed by anything, no pre-existing conditions, no cancer, no nothing. He just dies at full strength. You're like, dang, he got took out. This dude was healthy. There was nothing wrong with him. Go ahead.
Being holy, at ease, and quiet.
Go ahead.
His breasts are full of milk.
Yeah, man, he's lively. He's vibrant. Said his breasts are full of milk. Read.
And his bones are moistened and marrow with marrow.
Go ahead.
And another diet in the bitterness of his soul.
Go ahead.
And never eat it with pleasure.
Right, so I go here to show that, once again, all are susceptible to death. Death ain't got no age limit on it. Like, oh, everybody's supposed to die of old age. No. People die at a young age. Babies die. It's funny talking about Scottie Pippen. So he just had a son that died at 33, but guess what? He had a 9-day-old baby girl that died back in the 80s. She died at 9 days old. I'm just like, dang. 2 of your children pass? What's he thinking?
That's true.
What's he thinking? He's thinking, man, there ain't no God. God wouldn't do this to me. God wouldn't make a brand new 9-day-old baby die. But yeah, he would. Because he's not looking at the 9-day-old flesh. He's not looking at any of that. What's that?
That's like, I buried my firstborn. I was 6 months pregnant and I gave birth and he couldn't survive. And I was like, I went through a hard time. Like, is there a God? Why would he do that?
Well, I'll show you why he'll do that. Go to, this is Samuel. And I mean, this wasn't in the class. But, it's in 1 Samuel. Sis, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, one of my cousins, her baby, before he was a year, he died of SIDS, which is
Deaf syndrome?
where it's unexplainable. You're just healthy and he just
Died. Yeah, you sit back and you're like, wait a minute, what the hell?
Yeah.
But it is explainable. That's the thing. It can't be explained in the world of science and in the world of just what is supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen. That's why it's not explainable. But in the spirit, we can explain it by, well, this is what the Most High wants. This is what the Most High ordained, and He's showing us right here. It said his bones being full of marrow and breasts filled with milk. That's talking about a young, vibrant person. Not just a man, but a woman. A young, vibrant woman ready to undertake life. When you got that milk full of breasts, that means you're ready to give life. Marrow in the bones. That means that you're full of life. But all of a sudden, boom, you're cut down. Right? Where's it at? It's where Samuel said, but the Lord. Yeah, here it is. It's 1 Samuel 16 and verse 7. Somebody get that real quick.
1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7.
Right. See, our outlook on things is different from the Most High's outlook. He said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. So the way we want things to be done, or the way we perceive even the concept of death, right? We don't even perceive it the right way. Because we look at death as, that's it, right? That's it. But it's not. That's the problem. It's not it. It's not it. There's more after death. That's it for here at this time on earth. But that spirit is still there. And the Most High is going to deal with that spirit. So that's not it. And it just shows that our concept of death, what we believe death to be, is wrong. Right? So read that 1 Samuel 16:7.
1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
But the Lord said unto Samuel,
Right?
look not on his countenance,
Go ahead.
or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him.
So this is when the Most High told Samuel to go find Saul's replacement in David. And Samuel went to David's family, his father Jesse, lined up all his brothers, and they were all of high stature, beautiful countenances. They were big men. And the Most High said, nope, not him, not him, not him, not him. So he's reminding him, not because I refuse them. It's not about their stature and their countenance. Go ahead.
For the Lord see it, not as man see
You
it.
see that? He don't see things the way we see things. The one bad thing about the flesh is that we're going to always be tied to fleshly concepts. And we're going to always have that battle that Paul had. When you read in Romans 7, the things that I would not, and the things that I would not, I would. And the things that I do, I would not do. Oh, wretched man that I am, who will save me from the body of this death?
Yeah.
Right? We're always going to be tied to that concept in some way or another. There's levels to beat, certain things you're like, that's not there no more. That's not there no more. But there's still levels to climb. And we're never going to be, until Yahweh Shai comes, we'll never be 100% spiritual. We're always going to be tied to this flesh. So we're always going to be tied to the concepts of what we think the flesh is supposed to do or not do. But the Most High said he don't see things the way we do. Go ahead.
For man looketh on the outward appearance.
Go ahead.
But the Lord looketh on the heart.
Right. See, the Most High looks at the spirit. He looks at the mind, the spirit, the soul. He knows what is right in the spiritual sense. Jump back. Go to Job. So we're talking about death, and just death in a whole. That death is inescapable. As long as you're in this flesh, how do we know that you're going to die regardless? How do you know? Sis.
Wages of sin is death.
No, take sin out of it. It's a good answer, but think about the human condition. When you were 16, what was up? You were young.
Did you run, vibrant, do
Young.
whatever you wanted, no care in the world?
No care in the world.
Your body starts to depreciate.
Thank you. That's how you know you're going to die. Your body starts to depreciate. It doesn't matter how righteous or how wicked. It doesn't matter how much you exercise. It don't matter how much herbs. It don't matter how much anything. The flesh ain't made for the long term. That's what we got to understand. Like, the flesh is not made. Why do you think you watch all these movies, right? One of my favorites was, and it was real comical, but Men in Black. And remember when the bug jumped into old boy's skin? And he's walking and he's twisting and he's making all it. And the flesh start breaking down. And what do they have to do? Jump into another flesh. You watch all these movies about like surrogates, right? And they come and they'll occupy a body for a time. The flesh starts to break down. Then they got to occupy a new flesh, because everyone knows the flesh is not indestructible. The flesh is made to break. That's why when you get cut, you bleed. It heals, but does it heal back 100% the way it was? You got a scar there.
Scar tissue.
You got tissue, you got scar. You break a bone, they say it heals back stronger. That's if it heals right. But sometimes you'll break the same bone a few times. The body is not made for years and years and years and years and years and years, especially not in this time. You read in Second Esdras, it tells us through time we've become weaker. The flesh has become weaker through time. We've gotten smaller in stature and not bigger. But what is eternal? Well, it's the spirit that's supposed to be the strength. Right? St. John 6:63. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. Why? Because the flesh don't last. And this is why death does happen. So we got to wrap our heads around that concept, that the flesh is always susceptible to death. Read where you at.
Verse 26.
Go to Job 14. Go to Job 14 and verse 6.
Job chapter 14 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
Turn from him that he may rest.
Right.
Till he shall accomplish as an hireling his days.
Right. Go ahead.
For there is hope of a tree
Right.
down
Right.
that it will sprout again.
Yeah, anybody ever stump a tree or see a tree get stumped? They take a tree, they cut it down to the stump. Boom. But what happens to that tree? It can grow right back. Because why? The roots are still there. To really get rid of that tree, you gotta drill holes into the root, or you gotta cut that tree out of the ground in a circle and you pull up those roots. But as long as that stump is there, guess what's gonna happen? That tree is gonna try to sprout up. The natural instinct is to survive, is to keep pushing forward. Go ahead.
And that the tender branch thereof will not cease.
Right, as long as that root is in that ground and getting water, that tree is going to push. Go ahead.
Though the root thereof wax old in the earth.
Go ahead. You see that? Read.
And the stock thereof die in the ground.
Go ahead.
Yet, though the scent of the water, it will bud.
Right, yet through the scent of water, it will bud. So as long as it gets a little bit of that water, as long as them roots are buried in the ground, you can cut that top half off. That tree is still alive. Go ahead, read.
And bring forth boughs.
Right.
Like a plant.
Go ahead.
Man dieth.
But man what?
But man dieth.
Yeah, let me cut your head off. It's a wrap. Right? Let me cut you in half. You're done. Go ahead.
And wasted away.
Read.
Yea, man giveth up the ghost.
Right, so we're made to die. He said, man giveth up the ghost. Read on.
And where is he?
Right. So, let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms. And you know, a lot of us are wrestling with the death of young ones. A lot of us are wrestling with the death of, you know, man, it was such a good person. Why did they get taken? They were a good person. You know, we don't never ask why the niggas is getting killed. We know why, right? Or we think we know why.
You know why?
We think we know why, but think about it. Think about all the young people, just young Israelite men that died to gang violence. Don't they deserve a chance? But we don't bat an eye when the Most High cuts them out the ground. We're like, oh yeah, they deserved it. Right? Oh, you play with gun, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? We don't bat an eye. We don't bat an eye to any of that. And he said it, there's one that dieth with his breast full of milk. This cat's breast is full of milk. Marrows is full of bone. Bones is full of marrow. And we don't have no qualms about it because what we're judging their death on is their life. You see that? But then when the righteous dies, you try to judge their death on their life. And sometimes you mess up. Go to Psalms. Psalms 89 and verse 48. So
Psalms 89?
And is it a wrong thing to look at that and say, well, yeah, if you play with guns, you're going to die? Of course not. Of course not. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? Ain't that what the scriptures say? Yahweh Shai said it. It says it in Revelations. Right? You live righteously, don't mean you ain't going to die.
What man is he that liveth?
Right?
And shall not see death.
There it is. Right there. What man, who are we to think that we live on this earth and not see death? And not have this flesh wasted away? The sad part is we don't know what our time is. That's why death is so cliche. It's one of those topics that I don't want to talk about that. Because when you start to think about it, you're just like, damn, just like the sister said, I don't want to die in some weird way. I don't want to die in some crazy accident or some crazy, you ever watch Final Destination? I hate watching those shows. Because I watch that and I'm just like, and it puts me on edge. Like, okay, can't do this, can't do that. But guess what? In the show, the same people that try to avoid death, it came and hit them in the way they tried to avoid it. So I beat the car accident. I swerved the car. I did all that. I swerved all the accident. But then something came out and hit my head against the airbag. Boom. And knocked my head back, and the pole in the back killed me. Yep. Went through my head. You try to avoid it, but it's death. But death is death. It's there. What man is he that liveth that will not see death? Go ahead, read.
Shall he deliver his soul from the hand of the grave.
Nah, man. The only one that can deliver your soul is Yahweh Shai. The only thing we can pray for is that Yahweh Shai comes before we die. That's what I hope. I hope that I don't have to go through the death part, and that I do enough that when Yahweh Shai does come, just make it on through. I don't have to go through the torments of laying up in a bed being sick. Sick for years, or living with some weird cancer, or, bro, that ain't the way to live. I don't want to deal with none of that. I look at my grandpa. I'll let you come in. I look at my grandpa. He lived 103 years, but, bro, for 20 of those years, he was tormented with cancer. He had prostate cancer. He lived with prostate cancer for 20 years, and then it just shut him down in a week. In 1 week, he was done. He went from vibrant, talking, eating, to just a shell. And we looked at him, and I was like, yeah, he's done. I knew he was going to die. I knew he was going to die. Because it was just the time. But I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through life like that. 20 years of just being ailed. It says death is better than continual sickness. That's what the scriptures say. Death is better than a life of continual sickness. So for some, it's better to die than to live tormented, to live with some weird, strange cancer that's putting you in pain. Think about people that got, like, leukemia and those bone cancers, and a lot of that stuff is torment. Yep. Then you're going to torment me more with radiation? Nah, bro. Take me out of there. You had your hand up.
Khan, I was just going to say, couldn't that be a sign of torture from the Most High? To keep you alive and torture you?
It can be. It can be. You got to go back, but think about it. Okay, what about the child? What about the child that was born with cancer? And they live for 5-6 years just going through treatment after treatment, and then they die at the age of 6.
Khan, I get it.
Do you?
No, well, I say you're looking at the spirit.
There it is. Who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?
Yeah. No one
Right?
sinned.
St. John chapter 9, verse 1.
Right.
We know in that instance no one sinned, but the concept is that why does a baby come out as a crack baby? Because mama was doing drugs. So who did sin? This person or the child? Well, mama sinned, and that fell on top of the baby. Because why? That baby was attached to that mom. She did drugs while she was in the womb. Did the baby sin? Nah. That wasn't that baby's choice to do crack. You see that? That's one instance. That's one instance. Or it could be a punishment from the Most High. That what? It was something you did in your past. Your spirit did something in the past life. You see that? So that's why it's so hard to judge, because we don't know. We wasn't there. Little babies die. You like, why? Like, why the hell is the Most High taking out babies? That spirit did something.
Right.
Who perished being innocent? What the scriptures say. Somebody give me that one. Angela.
I used to work in the NICU unit, and you would see babies born and they would suffer for months and months and months. Swell up so big, and draining from every time you get stuck. And a lot of times the parents are often in arguments, or they're easted and wested, as they like to say, and they want to hold on to the child so the child can live. But you see that the child is suffering. You like, man, we hate to say, you want the baby to pass, but it's like the child is actually suffering. But a lot of times in those situations when the child does pass, it does bring the family closer together. So sometimes it's a reason why.
It is a reason, but even that reason for the Most High to drag a baby through suffering for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, it ain't about the baby. It's about the spirit. And this is what we gotta, you know why I'm doing this? Because we have to start putting our minds around these concepts and stop looking at things in the Western outlook of, well, it's a child. We know that. Right. We know it's a child. And I'm not saying to not be compassionate and not to be understanding, but at the same time, we have to look at things in a more spiritual sense. And what it does, it takes away some of that black and white, or excuse me, it takes away some of that gray area. And it does, the Most High does make things black or white. Right? So where we at?
I got that scripture.
Read it.
The book of Job, chapter 4, verse 7.
Right?
Remember, I pray thee,
Right?
whoever perished being innocent.
Yeah, man. Because we're all filthy. All our righteousness is like filthy rags. You see that? That spirit could have been sent just to be destroyed. Don't we get it? That some things are just made for destruction. It says the wicked is the ransom for the righteous. They were created to be our sacrifice. Y'all see that? They were created for us to live. They were a ransom for you to live. So a lot of the times I don't question death. I'm just like, hey, one more day to push on. Go ahead. What you got? What you got?
Oh, Wisdom of Solomon 12 and
You're not going to jump anything I got, right?
15.
Let's see.
Wisdom of Solomon 12:15.
Well, it will be on this very same one.
Go ahead.
It's the same scripture that we just said.
Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 15.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 15.
You can link this with the Job 4 and 7 that we just read. Go ahead.
For so much then as thou art righteous thyself, thou orderest all things righteously.
So because the Most High is righteous, everything that he orders, everything that he sets in place is righteous as well. So even when you look at, like what we were just talking about, like a baby passing, right? For us, we wouldn't understand. We'd be like, damn, that's messed up. But the Most High, he's not dealing unrighteously. So when you see that, that means that, okay, there's something going on as to why the Most High did this. But guess what? The Most High is righteous, so his ways will be righteous. His methods will be righteous.
Yeah, there's something going on in the spirit that we've overlooked or that we just can't see.
Right.
And that's what messes us up, is that there's certain things that we just can't see yet. And we try to wrestle with the concept and we get lost in just the concept. But it ain't the concept, it's just that we don't understand the concept yet.
Yep.
So then, for a question, if the Most High takes 3 generations of firstborn sons in one family, that would be for a reason?
Hell yeah, that's for a reason. Hell yeah, that's for a reason. And for it to happen like that, 3 generations of the sons,
Yeah.
he's saying like, hey, think about it. When you read David, when he cursed Joab's lineage, he cursed his lineage that let there not be one that didn't fall on the sword. When they cursed the lineage and they said, listen, this lineage is cut off, what would they do? The males wouldn't spring up, or certain deaths would happen. So, yeah, the Most High is saying something about that lineage or that line of man. There might not be no righteousness in that line. And every time you spring up, I'm going to cut you down. And I'm not saying that that's what it is definitively, but see how we judge things like, well, damn, how did the Most High do that? All we could ever do is go back to the scriptures and say, well, damn, if he's cutting off what brings forth the line, that means that line ain't needed. Right?
Absolutely.
That means that line is not going to be profitable.
So, I mean, they had more sons later, but it was the first son.
Well, remember, the firstborn is the strength. So there's a reason why he dealt with that firstborn. Remember, he said, Reuben, thou art my strength, my firstborn. The firstborn is your strength. That's where your inheritance. That's where everything. In that firstborn. So to not have a firstborn, the Most High is taking you out of just being able to even follow tradition.
Wow.
There's got to be something said to that. And somebody got to look in to say, what have we done? What have we done, or what are we doing? What are we doing that's promoting this spirit of death around us in this way? Remember, we all die. We all gonna die. Right? But sometimes it's too many. You know how, like I can say in my family, let me show y'all something. In my family, there's only been 4 deaths in my family. In my dad's side of the family, there's only been 4 deaths. Got an aunt, she was the oldest. She died of cancer like 15 years ago. My uncle, he was the second oldest. He died a few years ago. He was in his 60s of some weird blood disease. My grandma, she died about 12 years ago. You know, old, diabetes, 84 years old. Then my grandpa just died. 103 years old. They were all up in whatever you want to say, old age, right? Cancer, blood disease, diabetes. So we know, okay, there was something that was going on with the eating. They love to eat their pork. They love to eat shrimp, crab, lobster. They love to be Christians, right? Meaning not the righteous, Bible, God-fearing Christian, but the hypocritical, I'm going to do one thing and say the other Christian. So when they pass on, I'm like, I get it. I get it. I get why they died. I get it, right? And then the other ones are going to follow. But even in that, you know, there's some families where the brother died, then the other brother died, then the other brother died, then the sister died, then the mama died, then granny died, then the aunt. It's like every time this one person is going to funerals every other week. And it's murder, bad health, just regular, just death for no reason. Car accident, this, that. You're just like, damn, what the hell's going on with this family? Most High got some type of curse on them. Right? We would think. We would, but see, the point is we don't know. We don't know. A person can die just because it's their time. We've just read it in Job, a man being full of strength, bones full of marrow, breasts full of milk, and he's gone. Right? He's gone. You're like, damn, what the hell? He was so young. We don't bat an eye when an old cat dies. Right? When a cat's old up in age, you're like, oh, he was supposed to die. He's old. That's not true neither. That's not true either. You see that? But there are certain things you can sit back and look and say, you know what? The Most High is dealing with this family. You see that? If I got a family full of drug dealers and they all get wiped out, I mean, come on. Come on. They all get wiped out and bad drug deals gone bad. Their lifestyle brought death. And we'll talk about that. Angela.
Yes, I have family members. They were well-known rappers in Houston. Not to say any names.
Right.
One of them was killed, and they had other sisters, but they let it happen to them. But the family was very pretentious.
Warrior power. Just block him.
You know, they're very pretentious people.
Oh, did you?
Know, and they flaunted a lot of what they had, and flossed all the time. And it was all about what I got, this, that, whatever. And so, now it's like they don't have the one brother, he was coming up rapper, and then the other brother, he was another rapper, and the Most High took both.
Well, let me pause you right there. The scriptures say to be carnally minded is what?
Death.
To be carnally minded is death. So if I'm all about the carnal, I'm going to call death to myself in one way or the other. But to be spiritually minded is what?
Life.
Life, joy and peace. Right? And I may live a little bit longer than the wicked or than the carnal. I'm going to live a little bit longer life because I'm not stressing about certain things. I'm not doing certain things to my body. I'm not putting myself in certain positions that the spirit and the carnal, they war. I'm not doing certain things to be looked at because I'm carnal. You see that? So the things we do, they bring death. You see that? Now, where we at?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 15.
Right, that was what you were bringing out, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
For so much then as thou art righteous thyself, thou orderest all things righteously,
Go ahead.
thinking it not agreeable with thy power to condemn him that hath not deserved to be punished.
See that? So the Most High is righteous. So it's not agreeable with the Most High to condemn somebody that did not deserve to be punished. You see that? So somebody's not gonna die like by a bullet to the head, or by something crazy, right? Somebody's not gonna die like that unless it was agreeable unto the Most High. You see what I'm saying? It's like the
In any way, in any type of death. You ain't gonna die in your sleep if the Most High didn't say, take him in his sleep.
God.
Come to me, spirit, while you slept. A car accident on the operating table. Listen, my stepmom, They found her in the bathroom. My dad found her on the bathroom. Dead. I remember, it's funny. I seen her that day. I went to the house. I talked to her, left. I guess she was because she was telling me she was getting ready to take a shower and go do some, she was a real estate agent. She was going to go do some meetings. She never made her meetings. My dad got to the house. She was in the bathroom, dead. Right? We tripping out. What the hell happened? Did somebody break into the house? Da-da-da-da. No gunshots, no forced entry, nothing. They questioned me. I let them know what happened. They do the autopsy. No cause of death. They couldn't find a cause of death. Wow. Yeah. They couldn't say definitively why she died. Her heart just stopped. It wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't an aneurysm. It wasn't cancer. It wasn't any of that. She just died. Even to this day, I still sit back like, how the hell did this woman die? How? Like, but the Most High said, come. He pulled that spirit. That's it. That's the only thing that I can say. That when he called, it was just her time. Did she die in pain? Did she, they found her nestled in between, you had the toilet and the tub and the sink. She was like nestled in between the toilet and the sink. Did she feel it when she fell? Did her spirit get took out of her before she fell? Did she feel pain? Did she feel torment? Did she know? Did she have like all these things you ask, and it's like you won't know till it's your time. You see that? But then what happens when somebody runs up in your house and puts a bullet in a person? What do they go through before when they see that gun and that muzzle flash? They scream? Do they yell? They feel that death is coming and the fear. It's so much to it. It's so much to it, but the way to bring it all and rein it all in is to know that, like he just went to, perfect scripture, no matter what, it's all ordained of the Most High. Go back to, so we read Psalms, right? Go to Job 14 and verse 5.
The book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5.
So why do we die? Well, one main reason why we die is because our days are numbered. Yep. That's first and foremost. So read Job 14 and verse 5.
Job chapter 14 verse 5. Seeing his days are determined.
Go ahead.
The number of his months are with thee.
You see that? The number of a man's months are with the Most High. It's like no man knoweth the day or the hour when Yahushua is going to come but the Father. No man know the day or the hour of his death but the Father. His days are numbered with the Most High. So you want to know when you're going to die, you better ask God. You going to get an answer? Probably not. Read on. That'd be too easy, right? That'd be too easy because then, well, I could just be wicked up until that time. The whole point of death, this whole concept is that you don't know when it's going to happen and let me walk the right path. You see that? Read on.
Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Go to Genesis 6 and 3. And then hold that Job. No. Actually, you don't have to hold that Job.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 3.
No, you do have to hold that Job. You do have to hold that Job. Yeah. So hold the Job 14 and verse 6. Yeah, go ahead, read.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man.
Right.
For that he also is flesh.
So why do we die? Because the Most High Spirit stops striving with you. You see that? The reason why we die because you attach from the Spirit of the Lord. That's another reason why we die. He said it right here. My spirit will not always strive with man. He's flesh. You see that? Flesh and spirit can't coexist without some type of battle and war. That's why there is the war of the flesh. It says they're enmity with God. So he said it will not always strive with man. As long as we're in this flesh, bro, our days are numbered. Go ahead.
Yet his days shall be 120 20
I'm
years.
gonna make sure you live a long and joyous life. I'm about to be 40. For me to live 120, I'm just like, what the hell? You mean to tell me I gotta live another, just to get to double, I gotta do another 40 years? Bro, my body won't make it to 120 at this rate. It's like, how does your body make it just on this earth to 120, especially by the time you hit 40, you're broken down. By the time you hit 50, you got to be on medication. By the time you hit 60, you in a walker. You hit 70, somebody got to push you in a wheelchair. 80, you just bedridden. The majority of Americans. 80, you're bedridden. You're just like in the bed getting turned over from bed sores. 90, 100, come on now. You can't chew food. You ain't got no teeth. Right? You eat mush, puree. You got to eat pureed mashed potatoes. Think about it. So to go 120? Damn. But see, the Most High gave us that because, think about it, if you did take care of yourself physically and spiritually, that 120 could be a breeze. You don't have to be 120 and be ailed. Look at Moses. He said he died in full strength. Moses died at what age?
120.
Khan. He said his eyes weren't even dim and his strength was not diminished. You see that? He died in full luster, ready to go, and he died. There's one that dieth with his bones full of marrow and his breast full of milk and his full strength. Moses could have kept going, but Most High said, look, go up on the mountain and die. Basically, that's what he told him. Go up there, this is where you're going to die at. Said he went up there, he gave up the ghost. Somebody had their hand up.
No, I was just going to say that 1 out of 3 men make it to 70.
Damn, 1 out of 3?
1 out of 3 men make it to 70.
Wow. That's wild. It's funny, 'cause I got uncles, man. Look, all my uncles are in their late 60s. My pops, late 60s. And I'm just like, they look like they got another 100 years to live. It's weird, the way their bodies, and they're not complaining about ailments, my tendons and the broken bones, and they're not doing that. And they just living. And I'm just like, damn, like, you the ageless wonder. I got one uncle, you would never believe he was in his 60s. Except for the gray hair. He got a gray goatee. Other than that, you would never, if you shaved that thing off or colored it, you would think maybe he was 40. 40, 50, maybe. Yeah. It's weird. But if he passed away tomorrow, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked because Job said it. There's one that passed away in his full strength. If he went another 20, 30 years, I wouldn't be shocked either. If he went another 40 years. If he hit 103, I'd be like, well, hey, the dude was healthy, so to speak, all the way up until. So I wouldn't be shocked either way. You see that? Where we at?
Genesis chapter 6.
Go to
verse
Job.
3.
Go back to Job 14.
Job chapter 14, verse 5.
Right?
Seeing his days are determined,
Right?
the number of his months are with thee.
Right. Job 14 and 5. Go ahead.
Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Go ahead.
Turn from him that he may rest.
Right. That's it on that. So, man, that's weird. Why did I do that? I cut that Job. There was a reason why I did that. It's all good. Go from there. Go to Job chapter... Man, where's it at? It's Job. I made a mistake and put it down wrong. Is it Job 34? Go to Job 34. Yep. Go to Job 34 and verse 14.
Job chapter 34, verse 14.
Right?
If he set his heart upon man,
Read.
if he gather unto himself his spirit,
No, read it what it says.
if he gather unto
you're
himself
right. You're right.
his spirit
Go ahead.
and his breath.
See, when the Most High is ready to gather his spirit, or gather your spirit and your breath away from you, when the Most High sets you in the crosshairs, age, gender, race, nationality, none of that matters. When he's ready to do it, go ahead.
All flesh shall perish together.
Yeah, you can't fight it. You can't fight it. You can't sit there and say, no, I want my breath. Lord, please, I'm begging you, don't. Nah, bruh. Nah. That ain't up to us. No matter how much you beg and pray, it ain't up to us if it's your time. If it's our time, when the Most High is ready to gather his spirit and breath away from you, it's a wrap. Go ahead.
And man shall turn again unto dust.
Ecclesiastes 8 and verse 8.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 8.
Right?
There is no man
Read.
that hath power over the spirit.
Yes, and when the Most High says, give me that, you ain't got power to retain the spirit, man. Like, I'm going to hold back my spirit from going back to the Lord. It's not your spirit. Read.
To retain the spirit.
That's how we know there's no such thing as I cheated death.
Right.
I escaped the clutches of the Lord. Because when he calls, you coming home. Ain't no, oh, you know what? I'm busy down here, Lord. Ain't no, oh, let me go up and visit and then come back down and relive. Hell nah. That's fairy tales. Oh, I went up to heaven, talked to God, that he sent me back down to be the angel for someone else?
It's like you be having all those videos on YouTube where the video will say, man dies, went to hell.
Yeah.
He's coming back to tell you what it's like. Or man dies and went to heaven and now he's coming back to tell you what it's like. Yeah. That don't make no sense.
Right? Read that again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 8.
Go ahead.
There is no man that hath power over the spirit to retain the spirit.
Go ahead.
Neither hath he power in the day of death.
When that day of death is appointed, you ain't got no power.
God.
You're going to be weak. Read.
And there is no discharge in that war.
Yeah, you ain't going to, like, you know, when they do a discharge, like, we're going to excuse you. No man is excused from death. These are the things that we got to wrestle with. These are the things that we got to come to grips with. Now, am I sitting there saying, oh, let's sit there and dwell on death? No. Sit there and dwell on it and dwell on, and how am I going to? Nah, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that if you ever sat back and wondered why, well, this is why. Because the Most High said so. Because there's a time appointed for all men. Go ahead.
Neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to use wickedness to be delivered from death. That's how when you read Job 73, right? No, excuse me, not Job. Psalm 73. When it said there's no death in their bounds, it said it's the wicked that prosper, there's no death in their bounds. That's not true. Because wickedness don't preserve you from death. It just ain't their time.
Right.
So when you see the wicked prospering, it's just not their time. Most High is building up. We talked about it the other day. He just letting them build up that wickedness and letting it get to a peak. When he lays down the hammer, it's justified. You can't come back and say, man, why'd he deal with him like that? Why'd he cut off all the limbs? Why'd he deal with his family? Why did his whole family die? And him. That was the judgment. Sis, and then...
So is there no such thing as purgatory?
Okay, explain your concept of purgatory.
Well, my
Or what you understand it
what
as.
I understand it as someone could be in a dying state.
Okay.
They have not died yet. They still have pulse breathing, all of that.
Right?
I have witnessed people who have said that they spoke to someone. They didn't say God, but
Right.
said some things, and maybe like a few days later or weeks later, they did die actually.
Okay.
So during that time, when they're talking and they're on their deathbed, clearly weak, and they say things that you kind of wonder about. Is that considered kind of like purgatory?
Well, I've never read anything about that scripturally. Now, I could be wrong, but I have never read that where a person was on their death, because this is the thing, you got to ask yourself, who are they speaking to? Now, I'm going to show you this. The scripture says there's no private interpretation, right? So who are they talking to? Pain makes you feel and say a lot of different things, right? Depending on what state of pain but who are they talking to and what is being said? That's the question. Yes, we know that things are spiritual, right? Satan's a spirit too. The devil's a spirit. So how do we know they ain't talking to Satan? Or just their own mind playing tricks on them? Think about it. It's hard to see. You know why death, and even in that sense, is hard to speak about? I never experienced that. I've never experienced being on the cusp of almost dying and what the mind goes through. So I wouldn't be able to even speak on that. But scripturally, I haven't never read that. You see what I'm saying? Where a person was like on the deathbed and I never read that. So I wouldn't be able to really, it's hard for me to answer that one. You know what I mean? No, what were you going to say?
I'm trying to think of the scripture when, well, I guess just kind of like when I was saying he saw heaven and he saw earth and he took him to the kingdom. I mean, what was that?
You talking about, who you talking about? Because there was many, like you had Jacob's ladder, right? Or they say Jacob, but when Jacob, he had a vision. He seen heaven, and he seen the angels going up on the ladder into the heavens and into the earth. You had John.
Well, all of
them. A lot of them, they were just seeing visions. They weren't dead. All of them were visions. Ezekiel, when he was brought around, it said he was brought through in a vision. Peter, he was in a vision, or dreams. That's all it was visions and dreams. I've never read about a man being like on his deathbed and being brought to these visions.
Well, could they just be they're not dead yet? You know.
Well,
can they still just be having those moments where they could have been?
Well, no, it wouldn't apply because John. Remember, John was an alive. You know, he was a man that was moving around and like he's seen Yahweh Shai. That wasn't even like a vision, right? He's seen Yahweh Shai, but the things that he saw in a vision, it never alluded to he was seeing these things because he was about to die. Same thing with Ezekiel. Same thing with Peter. Same thing with anybody else that you read about that had like Jacob. When he seen the angels going up and down, it never alluded to that he's about to die. So the Most High gave him this vision, and then boom. It just said he got a vision. Then they died later on down in life. So that I see what you're saying, but it doesn't say that. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't allude to that concept. You see that? You had your hand up.
Oh no, I was just piggybacking off what you were saying, like when you see the wicked and they still keep living, you're like, oh, why that ain't happening to him?
Yeah.
And he just chalking it up. It kind of reminds me of how like the feds do, how they let you make it, but they really watching you. Secret indictment.
Yeah.
They got a secret indictment on you. They building up the case so they can fatten it up.
Yep.
So it bam, put you away for good.
It's cut and dry.
Yeah.
Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what they did to. That's how they do it. That's how the Most High does it. So when you're judged, there ain't no, well, he should have been given a chance. He was given a chance. Judas, he was given a chance. So when Judas' judgment was to go kill himself, by all means, kill yourself. Go play in traffic because you messed up. See that? Go to Samuel, 2 Samuel 14 and 14. 2
Samuel. Chapter 14, verse 14.
Read.
For we must needs die.
Wait, he said what?
We must needs die.
He said what?
For we must needs die.
Yeah, he said we need to die. He said, for we must needs to die. Read.
And are as water spilt on the ground.
Yeah, water spilt on the ground can't be recollected. Go ahead.
Which cannot be gathered up again.
Read.
Neither doth God respect any person.
You see that? So we're all as water to the Most High that spills. And at any moment, you could be that drop that hit the earth. Oh, well, just a drop. Still got a full cup. Go ahead.
Yet doth he devise means that his burdens be not expelled from him.
Yeah, no matter what, that spirit is going to go back to him and be dealt with for the purposes on earth, what you did on earth. And I'll put it together. I haven't done it yet. I'll put together the class on just not even a hell class, just an afterlife. The concept of, or I should say, after death. The after death, because that's what it is. It's after death. What happens? There's a lot of things that happen after a man dies to that spirit. Death is just the beginning. That flesh being destroyed, because that's all it really is the flesh being destroyed. That is just the beginning. So let's deal with it. Let's deal with what happens when the righteous die. Go to Isaiah. Go to Isaiah 57 and verse 1.
Isaiah 57 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
The righteous perisheth,
Right.
and no man lay it to heart.
Go ahead.
And merciful men are taken away.
Go ahead.
No, none, considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come.
Yeah. See, when the righteous die, it's a reason. They're pulled away from the evils on earth. They're pulled away from the seducing. They're pulled away from the filth that can overtake that righteous spirit. Go ahead, read.
He shall enter into peace.
Come on.
They shall rest in their beds.
Read.
Each one walking in his uprightness.
Right. Go to Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 4 and verse 7.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 7.
Wait, why didn't I do... Hold on. Why didn't I put the whole... Read it. Go ahead.
But though the righteous be prevented with death, yet shall he be in rest.
Right. You see that? Though the righteous be prevented with death. So it shows you the righteous do die. We can't escape it. Righteous men fall. Righteous men perish. Right? David was a righteous man. He died. How did he die? Now, you know, and when you look at how did David die?
He was dead.
He just died of old age. He just got old. So his wits were no longer with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then think about it. Moses was righteous. Look at how he died.
Yeah.
David got weak. Moses didn't. So I want you to think about something. Think about the mental torment that you can go through being at your tip-top peak and knowing that you're about to die. But think about the torment of once having a peak and then diminishing and knowing you're going to die. That's, I mean, come on. Come on. Think about when when you were young and you were able to move around and just nothing, you were unstoppable. And then you look at yourself and you just like, dang, like what the hell? The flesh is garbage. You get hurt. It takes forever to heal. You go work out. You're sore for days. As opposed to when you were young, you were never sore. You were never injured. Right? And then to have to deal and wrestle with that, like, damn, man. Because that's what I wrestle with. Not the death itself, but the lead up. What is my body going to do leading up? Again, when I hit 60, what's my body going to be like? Am I going to be broken down? I try to make sure that I hit the gym. I try to eat decent. I ain't perfect at it. But just hitting the gym and putting your body through that stress, does that do good or harm? Who knows, right? Because the most fittest people in the world, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. That nigga was Mr. Universe like 8 years straight. And he had triple bypass.
That's roids.
He had but still, you see, he looked good. I'm sure his tendons and knees all worked.
Yeah.
Up into his 50s, 60s, but then the dude had a triple bypass. They took his heart out of his chest and put it on a table and let a bypass machine pump his blood. He died, literally, like medically.
Gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they took his heart out of his chest, man. Triple bypass surgery. Think about it. all just to lead up to death. It's like, damn, what the hell's the point, right?
Like, I was watching this movie about Al Capone and how, like, he was good until he went to Alcatraz and then he got a brain eating. It's something that ate his brain, and so then he just, like, literally, like.
Wasted away.
Huh?
He just wasted away.
Yeah, he started, like, straight up. Like, he wasn't even that old, but, like, pooing all over himself. They made a movie and they, like, showed all of it going crazy. Like, literally, like, pooping all over his bed, like, not able to do certain things. He couldn't function. It was crazy.
Somebody else had their hand up?
Yeah, I did.
Right?
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of saying what you were saying, like, you know, you want to die in your strength, or you want to, you know, get old and sick and then die. That reminds me of like how boxers and athletes, they say, oh man, you washed up, you need to retire. Or do you retire after you get that big win? That's why some of them get out the game after that big fight, a big win,
or some of them go too long.
Go too long.
And that's when they get hurt.
Yeah.
And they get beat down, they look washed.
And then you ruin your name a little.
Yeah, you ruin
like,
your
trash.
Yeah.
You know, instead of you should just
bowed out when you were on top. Do I go out on top, or do I let the game up to us? How we go out and win is up to the Most High, right? So check this. Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. He pleased God,
right,
and was beloved of him.
Read.
So that living among sinners, he was translated.
Go ahead.
Yea, speedily was he taken away.
The righteous are going to be speedily taken away. They ain't going to have that torment. Go ahead.
Lest that wickedness should alter his understanding.
Read.
Or deceit beguile his soul.
And they're not going to be here long either. That's what it's telling us, man. They were taken away out of the wickedness. They're not gonna sit here on this earth for a long time just getting swallowed up by that. Go ahead.
For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest.
Go ahead.
And the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind.
Read verse 13.
He, being made perfect in a short time,
go ahead,
fulfilled a long time.
Look at Yahweh Shai. Died at 33. He barely lived. He barely lived. 33? He only taught for 3 years, but him being made perfect in a short time, look at we still read his words thousands of years later. Read.
For his soul pleaseth the Lord. Go
ahead.
Therefore, hasted he take him away from among the wicked.
So this is why some of us die. To be pulled away from the wicked.
I like this perspective too, because it shows kind of like a good side of it, where it's like, yeah.
Because there is a good side to that. This is it.
God.
The good side is that I no longer have to sit around wicked ass people and be seduced. The key was the bewitching of naughtiness. The bewitching of naughtiness doeth obscure the things that are honest. The bewitching of naughtiness, meaning what? The wicked make things look good. Right? And it says it do the wandering of concupiscence do undermine the simple mind. To the simple minds, to the simple, it's like it just is what it is. And the wicked know how to trick and connive and deceive.
Yeah.
Right? And what happens? They draw you in to that BS. So what does the Most High say? Guess what? I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna pull them out of that. I'm going to pull them out of the nasty. I'm going to pull them out of the filth.
So would the curses stop then?
Say that one more time.
The curses, like Israelite, like say when we die, they say, well, you're going to a better place. And, well, you know, we don't know where they're going. But due to curses,
they stop for that person. Yeah, because you're no longer they stop here on earth. Right. Now it depends on what that person was doing here on earth. Watch. Just on your question, you gonna let me dive into this class a little bit, right? But watch. Go to 2nd Esdras. See, go to 2nd Esdras 7:56.
Book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 56.
Go to 47. Verse 47.
Verse 47.
Right.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 47.
Right.
For what profited for men now in this present time
Right.
to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment?
Yeah, what's the profit? What profit us to live now in heaviness and then die and still look for punishment? There is no profit in that. What's the point? He's saying, what's the point? You're going through this hell in earth. You're going through hell on earth, hell in the flesh, and then you die and your spirit got to get punished?
True.
Now jump down to 56.
Verse 56. For while we live
Right?
and committed iniquity,
See, while we live and commit iniquity, read on, it's all being tallied up. Read.
we consider not that we should begin to suffer
Right?
for it after death.
When?
After death.
Yeah, man, there's a suffering after death. The flesh is melted away. The flesh is in the earth.
So true.
What's that spirit dealing with? So that's why we say death is just the beginning. That's actually the easy part. Ooh. That might just be actually the easy part.
You know what's crazy? This was the first scripture that I ever had on my wall when I came into the truth. This scripture right here stuck out the most to me because it was like nobody ever considers that. Nobody considers that while you're living and you're messing up, that if the Most High doesn't have grace on you, not only are you going to feel the effects of the mess up now, but when you die, you're going to feel it too. So it's a double whammy. Come on, man.
Go to yeah. There is.
It's like right now, like I can eat bad my whole life, right? And feel the effects of it right now, living this life. Especially when I start to get older. But then you're telling me when I die, I'm gonna have to pay for it too? So not only am I paying for it now, but I'm gonna pay for it when I die too.
And you know what's cold? All we feel right now is fleshly pain. None of us know what it feels like to have pains in the spirit. No one knows what it really feels like to be tortured in your spirit from the Most High. He ain't torturing our spirits. He's checking our flesh. So I don't even know how to put that into something that you can fathom, that type of pain or that type of chastisement. But just think about the worst pain you ever had in the flesh and probably times it by 1,000,000. I don't know.
Or pain in the mind, or something that got your mind.
A death of a loved one or something like that.
Yeah, and blow that up astronomically. Because if it was something you can feel now, think about it. Think about it just like this in this concept. If the torment that I can feel in the spirit, if I can feel it now, then guess what? There's no surprise. And there's no reason for me to change. If I can feel it now, then, I already felt that. I know what that's like. I can set my mind up for that, right? Think about it. You know what fire feels like when it burns? It don't change, right? Well, you know what a pin feels like when you prick your finger. That don't change, right? So if I'm already prepped for it, there's no surprises there. So obviously this pain and torment in the spirit ain't going to be something you can prep for.
That's why it says gnashing teeth. Because you don't know what it is really.
Bro, con. No, you can't, it's not about do you even know. You cannot conceptualize it. You can't conceptualize the pain in the spirit. Because if you could put it into a feeling here on earth, then what would be the point? I can already feel it. So guess what? Pain is in the mind, right? That's what they say, mind over matter. This pain is going to be the mind. There is not going to be no matter. The matter is the flesh. The matter is already going to be gone. So you're not going to be able to conceptualize the pain after death, or else you'd have the cheat code. So this pain is going to be something that you can't put into words. I can't even put it into. You can't conceptualize it. You can't think about it. You can't see it. You can't feel it right now. You have to be dead. You have to be out of the flesh. because the flesh is not going to be an anomaly or a component of this pain. That's why I said none of us have ever felt this pain, this torment. Lovely sister in the back, you had your hand up.
No, I was just relating back to what you were saying. Like as far as like that child that always got hit or beat, after a while, like they're immune to that.
They're numb.
Like they
Yeah.
don't even care like that. You can't scare them with
The belt.
a
Yeah.
belt.
Come on.
They're just like they'll fake it and they're but 2 seconds later they're just like playing or whatever it is.
Yeah, we ain't gonna be able to get immune to this ass whooping, right? Go from there. Go to 2 Esdras 9. Just on your question. 2 Esdras 9, and I'll put together a class. Obviously, I'm giving y'all some of the scriptures. 2 Esdras 9, 10 and verse 10.
The book of 2 Esdras, chapter 9, verse 10.
Go ahead.
For such as in their life have received benefits
Go ahead.
and have not known me,
Read.
and they that have loathed my law,
Read.
while they had yet liberty.
Right. So as we live on this earth, and to loathe means to hate. We hated to follow the law. There's some that hate the Most High.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them,
Because he always give us the place of change. He always gives us a way to turn back. There's always an olive branch extended for us to repent. Read.
understood not,
Read.
but despised it.
Go ahead.
The same must know it after death by pain.
Now, think about it. What level of pain is going to get a person that is stubborn as hell? I'm already catching pains in the flesh because I'm not following the law. We know that. He that knew if the master's will and did it not will be beaten with more stripes. He that knew if he that prepared himself not and didn't know the master's will be beaten with less stripes. I just butchered the scripture. But the point is, I didn't know, and I'm still gonna get beat with stripes. So I didn't know that eating pork was bad, but the stripes are the bad health. That's pain. I gotta go through the pains of just hypertension, diabetes, and blood pressure and all that stuff. And I went through that pain, and I made it. Wouldn't the pain after death have to be so much greater to get this person to understand what they had?
Are you talking about the people that know? Or the people
Talking about
that don't?
anybody, bro.
Everybody?
Anybody. But it's talking about the ones that loathed the law. When they had a place to repent, they said, nah, I ain't doing that. Now I'm going to keep smoking my weed. I know what the Bible said. I'm going to keep smoking my weed. I'm going to keep doing this. I know you can't hate something unless you know it.
That's true.
I can't hate what I don't know. I got to know about it to know that I don't want that. I hate that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, it's the ones that knew. They had a place to repent, and what do? Nah, I'm going to still smoke weed. I'm going to still do this. I'm going to still be hateful. I'm going to still... What type of pain do they got to feel in the afterlife to let them know they did wrong? I mean, come on. You can't even conceptualize that level. We think getting beat up in a car accident and dying, that's pain. Nah, you know what pain is? When you get beat up in that car accident and you live with crushed up bones and crushed up legs and crushed up arms, and you living like Stephen Hawking, breathing through a tube and talking through a machine.
Or you make somebody like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You're okay.
You have a
with
child
it.
like that?
You make somebody like that. Like you got into an accident and you call somebody to be like that?
yeah. But some people don't move off of that.
No,
Because the pain that it's talking about, you got to feel. You got to feel this. So jump back. Jump back to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. Let's finish up 4. I don't know why I didn't put this whole thing in there. 4. Where did we leave off at? Wisdom of Solomon 4.
4 and verse 10.
Go ahead. Finish that. No. Go to 14. Yeah.
14 and 4.
4. Wisdom of Solomon 4 and verse 14. Somebody get it quick.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 14.
Go ahead.
For his soul pleased the Lord.
All right.
Therefore hasted he to take him away from among the wicked.
15. Read.
This the people saw.
Right. So we see this. Man, why did the Most High take him? Go ahead.
And understood it not.
Because we don't We don't have the privy to the back workings of what the Most High is doing. We're not privy to that. And sometimes we are, we just don't recognize it. Read.
Neither laid they up this in their mind.
Come on.
That his grace and mercy is with his saints.
See that? Death is sometimes the mercy and the grace. Y'all are like, what the? Read it one more time. Read verse 15.
Verse 15.
Go ahead.
This the people saw.
Right.
And understood it.
Right.
Not.
Go ahead.
Neither laid they up this in their minds.
What did they not lay up in their minds? Read.
That his grace and mercy is with his saints.
Go ahead.
And that he hath respect unto his chosen.
Right. You see that? The chosen are going to die. And the chosen, to stay chosen, I'm going to have to pluck you out of this earth. You see that? I'm going to have to pull you away from the wicked. Read on.
Thus the righteous that is dead shall condemn the ungodly which are living.
Go ahead.
And youth that is soon perfected the many years and old age of unrighteousness.
Right, you see that? So it don't matter how long a person lives, you can accomplish things in a young age and pass on, and the ungodly can keep dying. We look at death like, oh, well, man, he's living long. The righteous, right? The wicked, there's no death in their bounds. That's what it says, right? In Psalm 73. That's what it says in Job, like what, 21. It seems as if these niggas keep living. The Rothschilds, they've been living 100 years. Queen Elizabeth, she's the ageless wonder. Right? And the wicked, the righteous, man, they just getting, it's like, damn, it's like the apostle said it best. He said it's like we were appointed for death. We were brought forth last to be appointed for death. That's what it seems like. But it's telling you, our death condemns the wicked. Our death, the death of the righteous, that's one more man or woman to that 144. You see that? That's one more death for Yahweh Shai to come.
Right.
And say, go ahead and loose the four winds because the 144 is sealed. And who's going to really die in that day? Who's going to really die? See, death is when death, you know what real death is? When your flesh and your soul is destroyed. That's real death. That's real death when that spirit goes to the Most High and he destroys that spirit. That's the real death. From there, go to yep, sometimes the good die young. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 3. 3 and 1.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1.
Read.
But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High.
Go ahead.
And there shall no torment touch them.
Go ahead.
In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die.
See, in the sight of the unwise, it's like, man, they just die. Nobody cares. Nobody lays it to heart. Go ahead.
And their departure is taken for misery.
Right. We get all sad. Like, how come we don't cry at death, laugh at death and cry at birth? We got it wrong. We should be crying when somebody's born. We should cry when we have a baby born because you're bringing them into this filth. You should be happy for that spirit that's been taken if they're righteous. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Right?
And they're going from us to be utter destruction.
Yeah, that's how we look at it. Then they would take it, man. They're going to be destroyed. Most High going to deal with them. Read.
But they are in peace.
They are what?
In peace.
Yeah, man. The Bible says they're in peace. They ain't got to deal with the torments of the flesh. They ain't got to deal with the ailments of the flesh. They ain't got to deal with that battle no more. One side has been cut off. Read.
For though they be punished in the sight of men,
Go ahead.
yet is their hope full of immortality.
So that spirit is eternal. Read.
And having been a little chastised,
Go ahead.
they shall be greatly rewarded.
Right, read on.
For the Most High proved them.
He did what?
He proved them.
He took them because he already proved them. He already proved their worth on earth. And said, okay, the job is done. You're going to come back to me. Go ahead.
And found them worthy for himself.
Go ahead.
As gold in the furnace hath he tried them
Read.
and received them as a burnt offering.
Right. So now let's deal with the wicked.
Dang.
Now let's deal with the wicked. Go to Proverbs 14. Go to Proverbs 14 and verse 32.
Book of Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 32.
Read.
The wicked is driven away in his wickedness,
Go ahead.
but the righteous hath hope in his death.
Right. So just as a segue, the wicked is driven away in his wickedness. He's going to be driven into death. But it says the righteous, he got hope. What is he hoping for? That immortality. He's hoping for that peace, that comfort. That when he goes into the holding cell, right, he's going to the right side. He's going into the neighborhoods of peace. Go ahead. Proverbs 17. Go to Proverbs 11 and 7.
Proverbs chapter 11 verse 7.
Go ahead.
When a wicked man dieth,
Read.
his expectation shall perish.
Yeah, man. Anything that wicked man expected for, any mercy and grace that he expected or asked for, that dies right along with him. That's cold, ain't it? Golly. Whew. This is talking about the wicked. Read on.
And the hope of unjust men perisheth.
Go back to Wisdom of Solomon 3 and verse 17.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 verse 17. For though they live long,
This is talking about the wicked. Go ahead.
yet shall they be nothing regarded.
Right, so David, I almost slipped looking at the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not troubled, they are not in trouble as other men. Neither are they plagued like other men. You see that when you go to Job 21, he says that he basically echoes the same sentiment that, man, the wicked, these niggas, bruh, they strong. Watch. Job 21 and verse 7. Wherefore do the wicked live and become old, yea, are mighty in power.
Got it.
Right? I'm just reading it real quick. It says their seed is established in their sight with them and their offspring before their eyes. So when we look at the wicked, we're like, damn, man, these niggas, bruh, they strong. They're plentiful. They don't never die. But read verse 17 one more time. Wisdom of Solomon 3:17.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 verse 17.
Right?
For though they live long.
So even though they live long, like the ageless wonders, the Trumps and the Rothschilds and the Little Horns and the Spielbergs and all them wicked people, the Chases and the J.P. Morgans, they live long. They around. Go ahead.
Yet shall they be nothing regarded.
Not in that time of death. In that time of death, ain't no respecter of persons. Read.
And their last age shall be without honor.
Go ahead.
Or if they die quickly,
Read.
they have no hope.
They have what?
They have no hope.
See, this is the torment. When they die, they have no hope. When they get old in age, they get tossed around. They throw them in a nursing home, right? Then take Granny out to pasture. Put a bullet in her damn head. It's like that old horse that can't race no more. What you do with it? Take it out to pasture and just put it down. Go ahead, read on.
Neither comfort in the day of trial.
You see that? They have no comfort in that day. This is why it's important for us to walk that path as much as we can. Because in that day of death, it sucks to die and be tormented and then get tormented after. I mean, damn, bro. Double? Triple? You getting beat up on earth. We come on, man. You living in America in torment. You can't move around free. Just today I was helping the brothers with the truck, and we were in this Edomite neighborhood, Edomite to the core. And I'm sitting in my car with the brother, and I'm like, and I'm waiting for the other brothers to come on the truck, and I'm just like, man, they gotta hurry up, because we sitting in this neighborhood. At any moment, they can call the cops, Negro alert. And then and as soon as I think that in my damn head, I don't know why I thought it. Cop rolls by, right? And so I'm down the block, and the stop sign is up there. He rolls by, he just sits right there. I'm like, man, this damn pig. right? He just sits there. The truck rolls up, we unload, we do what we gotta do, and then we pull off, and when I bust the corner, he's sitting right there. And I'm like, man, this nigga better not try to pull off and mess with us. Came to the stop sign, sat there. Now we can go, right? Make sure I came to a full pause, 5 seconds, all that. You know what I'm saying? Blinker, seatbelt, all that. You know what I'm saying? But think about just even that. You trying to just handle business and the torment of knowing that at any moment, you could be the next George Floyd. That's it. You could be the next. They shot the brother, the bro over there in Minneapolis, right? Oh, it was my taser, right? I meant to pull the taser, but I put a bullet in him. Oh shit, I shot him. That's what she said.
13-year-old.
The 13-year-old boy that got killed, right? I mean, at any moment, any one of us, the thought of knowing that any one of us are our children. I got 2 boys. The thought, the torment of knowing that as they get older, they're no longer looked at as sweet little boys, like, oh, he's so cute, little Manasha. He's cute as hell now, right? But as he starts to get older and blacker, he's going to be a predator in the eyes of the oppressor. He's going to be what we got to put down. So the thought that if I don't teach these boys the right way to move, that at any moment they could be the next ones on the news, or any of the boys in here, that as they get older and they get bigger. How old are you, John?
11.
This dude's 11 years old and got the body of a 15, 18-year-old. Come on, man, he's huge. But they look at him, just a big body. They don't care about his age. The torment of knowing that, damn, he could walk into a store and automatically just be guilty.
You know what's crazy? The Esdras brother that got shot in Chicago, the 13-year-old, Sean Hannity called him a 13-year-old man.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, he called him a
13-year-old man.
Look it up. Sean Hannity called the brother a 13-year-old man.
But to be a man in America, you got to be 18.
That's a dog, man.
But see, they put that out there. He's a 13-year-old man. So now that he's a man, now that he can, whatever happened to him is justified.
Yep.
That's the way they talk. It's all in the wording. Then they're going to dig up all the dirt on him. He was doing this. He played basketball the wrong way. He fouled the kid on the court too hard. So we were justified in shooting him. You know how they do it. But all these torments that we got to go through here on earth just to live, and then to die and be tormented at that time, and then to be tormented again in the spirit. Come on, man. I'm not trying to catch the triple whammy. This is enough. This is enough. Read on.
For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation.
Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 10.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations.
Read on.
Which have neglected the righteous.
Right, you see that? So the ungodly, they're going to get punished according to their own doing, according to their own works. You see that? Go ahead.
And forsaken the Lord.
Right, read on. Did I want you to read on? Wisdom was on 3:10. I know my friends were back there. Right, that's it on that. From there, go to Job 15. I'm trying to just breeze through more scriptures. Go to Job 15 and verse 20.
Job chapter 15, verse 20.
Go ahead.
The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days.
Go ahead.
And the number of years is hidden to the oppressor.
Go ahead.
A dreadful sound is in his ears.
Right.
In prosperity.
Woo! See that? The wicked. He lived all these years, and then when he gets prosperous, what happens? Read.
The destroyer shall come upon him.
Yeah, you see that?
Damn.
This is the wicked, man. All of a sudden, they just cut out of the earth. Read.
He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness.
He what?
He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness.
Go ahead, read.
And he is waited for of the sword.
He is what?
Waited for of the sword.
The wicked is waited. The sword is waiting for them. They were made for the sword. So, in conclusion, the one thing we always got to remember is one thing. That's it. The one thing we got to remember is one thing. The one thing we have to remember is this, that when it comes to death, don't blame God.
Ooh.
And you know why I say that? Because the scriptures say that to the Lord belongeth the issues of death. But that's our fault. We basically, it's almost like we put that power in the Most High's hands. Meaning what? Well, go to Wisdom of Solomon. 1 and verse 13. We put the power in the Lord's hands to now judge us and condemn us to death. Watch, read.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 13.
So we can't blame the Most High. Oh, the little baby died or grandmama died. That's our fault. It's our fault that babies die. It's our fault that the righteous have to die. It's our fault that the wicked die. And you're going to understand what I mean by that. It's the wicked's fault that the wicked die. You see that? It's not the Most High's fault. Read. Watch. It's going to tell y'all. Read.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 13.
Right?
For God made not death.
So whose fault is it? The Most High didn't make death. He didn't say, hey, go eat from the tree and it's going to kill you. He said, don't eat from the tree. That will kill you. Eat from this tree. And what do we say? Nah, I'm trying to go see what death is feeling like. I'm trying to chase death, homie. I want to be a death defiant. You know what I'm saying? I want to live on the edge, Lord. Right? I want to be an adrenaline junkie. I want to do what you didn't tell me to do. So we can't blame the Most High when it comes to death. It says to him belongeth the issues of death, meaning now death is going to be administered at a high rate. But why? Why? Read.
Neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living.
Go ahead.
For he created all things.
Read.
That they might have their being.
Go ahead.
The generations of the world were helpful.
Right. The Most High didn't create death and disease. He created animals that were a pathway to prevent disease, but then you ate the animal. Who created the death? Who created disease? We did. We did by putting certain things in its wrong use. We created disease. When homosexual men are running around with hepatitis, well, why? Because you're putting that part of your body in the wrong part of the body, and now you got hepatitis everywhere.
It's toxic.
Now you got AIDS everywhere. Now you got this everywhere. Now you got that everywhere. Read on.
And there is no poison of destruction in them.
Read.
Nor the kingdom of death upon the earth.
Right, read.
For righteousness is immortal.
Wait, but hold on real quick. Didn't we just go through and talk about how the righteous die? Now I got to pull the righteous up out of the wicked. Now I got to make the righteous die to preserve them. Remember, Adam lived to how long?
930 years old.
Noah lived how long? Methuselah lived, I don't want the numbers. Methuselah lived how long? All these men, the righteousness was on earth. And it was on earth for a long time. But then what happened? Well, now I got to wipe y'all out. Now I got to separate the righteous from the wicked. Because the wicked is overrunning. Remember, 8 men were saved in Noah's time. 8 people. There was a world full of people. There was a world full of people. Right? So think about it. The righteous started to overrun, or the wicked started to overrun the righteous. Now I got to do things to make the separation. Right? So what do I got to do? Now the righteous and the wicked got to die. The righteous go here. The wicked go here. You see that? I got to store them up in different places. I got to hold back this spirit, put that spirit over here, and send it back to try again. Send it back to keep being righteous. It's this whole concept. You see that? All for what? All for us to die all over again? You try it again, you mess up, die. You stay righteous, you Don't mess up, die. Can't escape death. Read on.
But ungodly men,
Right?
with their works,
See, that righteousness is immortal, so what is it saying? Well, even though that flesh of the righteous die, that righteous spirit always has a chance. But ungodly men with their works, go ahead.
and words,
Read.
call it to them.
What do they call? What do they call to them? They call death. Remember the concept, the point of this scripture is talking about death. Unrighteous men with their words and their works call death to them. And not only to them, but now death is a concept that's manifested to all. For some, it's to save them from wicked. And for some, it's punishment for being wicked. You see how it works? But for some, it's grace and mercy. And for some, it's torment. Ooh, that's the wrestling. Where do I fall? Is my death going to be grace and mercy? Or is it going to be punishment? Read on.
For when they thought to have it their friend,
Read.
they consumed to naught.
Go ahead.
And made a covenant with it.
Yeah, they made a covenant with death. You thought the ungodly works was going to be your friend. But the ungodly works is what consumed you, right? That's why I went to Wisdom of Solomon 3:10. But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations. The filth that I could imagine, that's what's going to be my end. That's going to be my destruction. Which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. Read on.
Because they are worthy to take part with it.
Yeah, now you're worthy to take part with the deaf and the ungodly. So, I guess the question, I just asked it, but the question is, when I die, where do I fall? Is it going to be grace? Is it going to be mercy? Or is it going to be torment? Is it going to be punishment? Con, any questions?
Good class.
Yes.
What's that?
I have a question. I've pondered this thought, how talking about death, we know that the Most High can, fold us up at any moment like a garment.
Right?
And I've been seeing a lot of like children dying or being killed by the hands of certain people. So is it a reason, because the Most High can allow people to die at any time, so is it a reason why the Most High allows people to die at another person's hand? So that the blood of that person would be on that person's hand, because if the Most High just wanted to take them out of a treacherous situation, he can do that, or a person can die in their sleep. But why is it that, he'll allow like a mother to kill her child, and that the child's blood would be on her hand?
It's like, just take it back to Cain and Abel. Right? Abel's blood was on Cain's hands. Right? But who was that up to? That was up to man. He said he put man in the counsel of his own hand. So he left us in our own counsel. He left us to our own devices. So again, the wicked, if I'm a murderer, that's going to be my destruction. Right? So really, it's not up to the person that's being killed, but it's really up to that murderer. You don't have to murder. You don't have to kill someone. Was that Abel's only course of action? No, excuse me, Cain's only course of action to kill Abel? It to show what type of man he was. Why did the Most High allow it? Because surely I will do nothing. Surely I will do nothing. Why does the Most High allow death? Because he does. Because it's not the Most High allowing it, it's what we give ourselves to. Remember, we all have free will. If you go out and kill somebody right now, if you just stab the sister right next to you, is that the Most High allowed it? Or that it was the spirit in you that went and did that? It's not that the Most High allowed it, it's what you gave yourself to. We all have that choice. Right? Scale it down from killing. scale it down from killing and you just yelled at a sister. Didn't you have a choice not to yell at her? It's what you let yourself fall into. That spirit. You see what I'm saying? So murder is a high thing, right? Like that. That's deep. That's murder. But how about just the way I talk to a person? It's showing that I allowed myself to be overtaken by whatever spirit where I now talk to a person a certain type of negative way. Right? But that's all in the choice that you can make. That we all have to make. I got to make a choice. You see what I'm saying? To not yell and not scream or not kill. But then why is the person that got killed, why did they get killed? Well, that's many different reasons. Look at David's son. Or David's child that died right when it was born. Why did that baby die? Something that David did, right? But then, not always is it because of something that somebody did. Wrong place at the wrong time. Think about the child that's driving and somebody starts shooting and shoots through the car, road rage, and hits the little baby. The little baby the other day got hit in the head. His damn head swelled up. Had to do brain surgery, alleviate the pressure. I mean, what's up with that? I don't know if he passed away or not, but what happened? You know, what's up with that? There's always a reason. The Most High, when we read it, there's a reason. We just don't know the back workings. But this is the thing. If I'm in the car and I'm screaming at somebody in the next car, and they pull out a gun and shoot everybody at the car that I'm in, and my kid gets hit, that's a lesson to shut the hell up and just keep driving. Don't have road rage. So the reason why my kid got shot, because I couldn't control my temper. So my kid might have died at the hands of somebody else, but it's what I didn't do biblically. You see what I'm saying? Especially us that know better. Like I know, like I'm not road raging nobody. Because niggas out here is losing it these days. Maybe like 20 years ago you could have road raged and beeped your horn and got crazy like, what the hell? Now everybody got the gun on. Everybody is wild and crazy.
And just like the scripture says, in the last days, people are going to be incontinent. Incontinent means like you
can't hold yourself.
Can't hold yourself.
You can't hold your own bowels.
Everybody's like incontinent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody got self-control.
No control. So it's not really that the Most High is allowing things. The Jews need a sign. Why does a Trayvon Martin or a Mike Brown get killed? Why does a 13-year-old boy get shot? Why does another black man unarmed? Well, the Most High is doing that to show his people. Wake the hell up.
So not talking about the victim, so it's basically about the person who's committed the act. Is to bring out or to show who that person
Well,
is.
it's both. Because who perished being innocent? Who perished being innocent? We don't know the backstories on a lot of these people that died. You see what I'm saying? The scriptures talk about secret sins. The scriptures talk about outward sin. We don't know what these people did to where the Most High said, you're going to be in the crosshairs.
Yeah.
But think about it. I'll just use this as an example. When is the last time, and you can raise your hand, but when is the last time any one of you in the last 6 months have faced death? To where you're like, damn, I'm in a death-defying situation. None of us, right? Why? Because we are where we're supposed to be. We are where we're supposed to be. Death be close. Somebody died over here 2 times. There was a shooting over here. Now, at any moment, that could trickle over to here. But we are where we're supposed to be. And the Most High said he'll compass you about with his angels. That's only the righteous if the righteous does the righteous things. So we're all striving. We're all trying to be who we weren't. Right? So the Most High is going to honor that. And he's going to protect us from certain dangers. What's that?
So
I'm going to let you...
I'm sorry.
No, you're
So
good.
basically, I guess I'm trying to understand it this way.
Uh-huh.
So the Most High is, with us, it's not so much as that we're being faced with death so much.
Right.
We're being faced with a lot of fleshly things, of carnality, things that need to be burned off of us so that we can be blameless and make it into the kingdom. So I think more so that we're not being faced with death, but just
Well, we're not being faced with death yet. Yet. That's the thing. We're going to have to face it. No matter what. It's just not our time. So that's why I did this last to show us that it's inevitable. No matter what you do. But is it like, do we approach it like, well, I'm going to die regardless, so I might as well just be wicked? No. Because there's going to be a grace in death. There's going to be a level of death that you don't want to feel. You see that? Where if I live righteously, the Most High will be gracious to me in the day of death. And after, he'll be gracious to you here on earth. Right? This don't got to be hell for everybody. This don't got to be hell for everybody. You know, like, who in here is cursed? Thank you. I don't feel cursed. Right? I don't feel cursed. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So I'm not constricted by what the average male in his 40s is constricted by on this earth. I don't have those constraints. I don't have those chains. So I'm not in the curses. You see what I'm saying? Now, at any moment, I can be back in the curses. But what am I doing? It's about us. Surely the Most High will do nothing. He revealed his secrets unto his saints. That's all he's going to do, is reveal his word to us. But the things that happen, that's on us. Man killing man ain't the Most High. That's a man's lust. Say not that when I'm tempted of the Lord. So if I got the lust to kill or to avenge, then that's on a man. You see that? That ain't got nothing to do with. That ain't got nothing to do with the Most High.
That's true.
That's man and his lust and his flesh trying to accomplish what the flesh wants. That's why I said. That's why I went to the last scripture. Don't blame God. We can't blame the Most High for death, especially when we created death as flesh, as man. We created it by misuse, overuse, by putting things in the wrong places, by taking things out of its use. We create death. Right? Who created homosexuality? Man. What does homosexuality promote? Death. Slow death, short death, long-term death, short-term death. You catch a disease, you die. You cut off your lineage, you die. You catch a disease, you live long, you die. It promotes death, but what type of death is it promoting? It's an unrighteous death. But if I live righteously, I'm going to still die, but I'm not going to die the way the homosexual dies. I'm not going to be tormented in that day. You see that? Yeah. What else? Well, what was the question online?
God Bernard asked, so are you saying that death is a part of the curse?
Death is the part of the curses. Hell yeah. But think about it. How am I going to die? Am I going to die with worms and tapeworms in my gut, eating me alive from the inside out because I didn't want to, because I broke the law? Or am I going to die at a nice old age, understanding that I lived and served a purpose to the Most High and I tried my best, and that I have that hope and that mercy? How am I going to die? See, that's the thing. It's a mental. It's mental. It's physical also. But yeah, of course, death is part of the curses. Let's go read them again. All the curses promote death. Don't y'all get it? Every curse promotes the dying of a nation. If you don't have your children, you're dead. You can't carry on your nation. If you don't have an economy, you're dead. So what do you got to do? You got to cleave on to another economy, cleave on to another people. Just go wipe out any nation's children. And what's going to happen? They're not going to be a nation anymore. You see that? The Most High had grace on us to put us in the curses, but still scatter us. So we can cling on to other people and live. All just to do what? Come back together. But if you look at the curses, every curse promotes death. So yeah, there's death associated with the curses. Hell yeah. I mean, that's a curse. Death in itself. That's a death in itself, man. What else? Is that it? Class tonight. Yeah. I didn't want to do, like I said, I don't like talking about it because even when I start thinking about it, I lay in the bed. That's when I start thinking about my death, my own death. I think about it and I start going through the whole, how am I going to get taken out? How am I going to go? How am I going to feel it? And I just get this shiver. Then I say, you know what? Let me stop thinking about that. Because I get this anxious feeling. Because a big part of me is like, listen, end it. But then another part of me, just like Paul, he said, my spirit longs to be with Yahweh Shai, but it's better for me to be here with you. Right? So just like Paul, watch. It's actually Philippians chapter 1. But yes, it's good to want to die and be with the Most High, but then check this out. I got children. What's going to happen to my children if I'm not here? I got children. I got brothers and sisters. I got all this responsibility here. So to just give up the ghost and leave this responsibility, that irks me. To know that at any moment, I can no longer be responsible and then somebody else got to be responsible. And that scares me. Scary feeling. So I'm scared for y'all sometimes. Like, man, if I'm not around, what's going to happen to this person? What's going to happen to the kids? My rib, this, that. How's this going to get taken care of? The Most High, he'll make a way, but still, it's still a thought in my head. So I let it not be a thought. He's like Paul said, it's better for me to be here with you. I want to be with Christ, but it's better for me to be here with you. You need me now. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything else? Or are we gonna end it? 9:30? All right, man. Well, that's that. So thank everybody for joining us. What's tomorrow? Thursday? They'll be live in Virginia. With that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom!
Am I going to find you out?